Tantor Audio presents The Immune System Recovery Plan, a doctor's 4-step program to treat autoimmune disease. By Susan S. Blum, M.D., M.Ph., with Michelle Bender. Narrated by Laural Merlington. Publisher's Note: this audiobook is packaged with bonus material, which has been included on the first audio and MP3 CD. If you downloaded this audiobook in a digital format, please visit our website at www.tantor.com and type the Immune System Recovery Plan into the search box. Follow the link to the book's page, then click on PDF Extra 1. When prompted, enter the access code GRANOLA to access the bonus material. If you do not change direction, you may end up where you are heading. Lao Tzu. Forward. Relief from a hidden epidemic of pain and suffering. What disease affects more women than heart disease and breast cancer combined? What problem affects 24 million Americans but receives only 5.4% of the National Institute of Health's (NIH) budget for this problem to study its potential causes? The answer is autoimmune disease. And it is mostly off the radar because it comes in so many flavors and types. Rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, multiple sclerosis, inflammatory bowel disease or colitis, diabetes, hypothyroidism, and psoriasis are all autoimmune diseases. We think of all these problems separately, when they are really just one disease with many different colors, depending on your age, sex, and genes. Autoimmune diseases affect our bodies at almost every level. Some affect our nervous system, like autism and maybe even depression, and others affect our joints and muscles, our skin, our endocrine glands, our hearts, and more. Autoimmune disease occurs when the body's immune system attacks its own tissues rather than a foreign molecule, such as a bacteria. There are more than 100 different autoimmune diseases, and as anyone living with an autoimmune condition will tell you, it has a huge impact on quality of life. The emerging science, and its practical application through functional medicine, points to just a few basic causes of autoimmune disease, most of which are ignored by conventional doctors, who try to shut off the immune system with powerful medications that have dangerous side effects. But the truth is that the root causes of almost all autoimmune diseases are the same: microbes, environmental toxins, allergens, stress, and poor diet. By removing these root causes and supporting the body's optimal functioning through diet and lifestyle, you can actually recover from these conditions. Dr. Susan Blum's groundbreaking book, The Immune System Recovery Plan, is a powerful guide to self-healing. Dr. Blum shows how you can address the root causes of disease and rebalance your immune system. She lays out a clear roadmap to recovery for the millions of people needlessly suffering from autoimmune disease, and provides solutions for changes in diet, supplements, and environment that can help people deal with and even reverse autoimmune conditions. Dr. Blum's desire to find these answers was fueled by her own struggle with autoimmune disease, a condition she has successfully treated and recovered from by using the program described in this book. Our conventional approach to autoimmune disease is to shut down the immune response with powerful medications including NSAIDs, like Advil or Aleve, steroids, like prednisone, anti-cancer drugs like methotrexate, and the new drugs like Enbrel, Humira, and Remicade that block the effects of a powerful inflammatory molecule called TNF-alpha. But those new drugs slow down your immune system so powerfully that they increase your risk of cancer or life-threatening infections. And they have frequent and serious side effects and often give only partial relief. These drugs may be life-saving for some in the short term, but in the long term, they do nothing to address the causes of disease. Dr. Blum and I use the principles of functional medicine, which takes us to the root of the problem. We have treated hundreds of patients with autoimmune diseases successfully by addressing the underlying causes, including toxins, infections, allergens, poor diet, and stress. I have even benefited from these methods myself. Chronic fatigue syndrome has autoimmune features, and my blood tests clearly showed my body was attacking itself. Getting rid of my mercury poisoning reversed my chronic fatigue and autoimmune problems. And this has been true for so many patients. For each one, doctors like Dr. Blum and I find all the causes, toxins, allergens, infections, poor diet, and stress, and deal with all of them while adding back the things the body needs to function optimally. Whole, clean food, nutrients, exercise, stress management, clean water and oxygen, community, connection, and meaning. Here are some of the stories of recovery that are possible for you. One 10-year-old girl came to see me with mixed connective tissue disease. Her skin, joints, liver, and blood cells were all ravaged by inflammation. Doctors attempted but failed to control her symptoms with horse doses of intravenous steroids and immune-suppressing chemo drugs. No one asked why. Why was she inflamed? What caused the overactivity of her immune system? They simply wanted to shut it down. After 2 months on a gluten and dairy-free diet, clearing out all the yeast in her gut and restoring her nutrition with whole food and supplements, she was dramatically better. After a year, she had no symptoms and was off all her medications, and her autoantibodies returned to normal. This type of disease reversal is not seen in conventional practice, but it is possible and available to everyone now through Dr. Blum's book, The Immune System Recovery Plan. One woman had crippling psoriasis and related arthritis. She was 42 and couldn't walk up and down stairs or get into a bathtub by herself, nor could she properly care for her children. 9 months after we started treatment, including eliminating gluten and other food allergens, removing her heavy metals, and balancing her immune system, she walked back into my office not only 30 pounds lighter, being inflamed makes you fat, but completely free of pain and psoriasis. Another man suffered for years with the bloody diarrhea and pain of ulcerative colitis. Dietary changes and various digestive support helped, but he never got better until we cleared out the bad bacteria from his gut and got him off gluten. And a recent patient with debilitating fatigue and multiple sclerosis and little white inflammatory scars on her brain experienced nearly complete relief of her symptoms after she had the mercury dental fillings removed and went on a comprehensive detoxification program. And when she repeated her MRI, all of the white scars from the MS were gone. Functional medicine practices around the country are helping countless patients to recover from autoimmune disease. Dr. Susan Blum is the visionary behind one such practice, and at Blum Center for Health, she has improved the lives of thousands of people. The approach of finding and removing triggers of disease, such as hidden microbes, toxins, or allergens, and supporting the body's function with nutrients, herbs, and pro-drugs, such as probiotics, is a movement that is now being practiced by practitioners at the cutting edge of medicine. It is an approach called functional medicine and has helped tens of thousands of patients worldwide. The valuable wisdom of functional medicine is described clearly and thoroughly in the Immune System Recovery Plan. By following the straightforward, revolutionary program described in this book, you too can treat the causes of autoimmune disease, reverse your condition, and give yourself the gift of health and well-being. Functional medicine gives us the knowledge and the methods. Now you just need to apply them. Mark Hyman, M.D., West Stockbridge, Massachusetts, September 2012. Introduction. Getting started. A new partnership. There's a growing epidemic in our country. It doesn't grab newspaper headlines or make the evening news, but it's there, and it is debilitating and potentially deadly. It is the epidemic of autoimmune disease. Autoimmune diseases are among the most prevalent forms of chronic illness in this country, now affecting an estimated 23.5 million Americans. More people suffer from this group of chronic illnesses than from cancer or heart disease, yet most people don't even know what these conditions are. This lack of awareness is killing us, literally. It's causing severe pain, disability, and even death. Worse yet, many people with autoimmune conditions suffer with their symptoms because conventional doctors either can't figure out what's wrong or can't get to the root of the problem. The answer is functional medicine, a medical specialty that has come of age in the past 10 years and focuses on reversing these chronic conditions. Hope is here. Why a book on autoimmune disease? There are more than 100 different autoimmune conditions, and they are all serious chronic diseases caused by an underlying problem in the immune system. This book is a call to alarm. These diseases are reversible and curable if caught early, before they progress and cause severe pain, disability, and even death. The first symptoms might be vague feelings of fatigue, muscle or joint pain, or a nagging feeling that something isn't right. With simple blood tests, you can be diagnosed at this early stage. And then, by following the steps in this book, your immune system can be brought back into balance before irreversible damage is done to your brain, joints, thyroid, blood vessels, and other vital organs. If you have been suffering from an autoimmune condition for some time, and you have already experienced some tissue damage, this book will help you feel better in general, tell you how you can actually reverse the effects of the disease, and help prevent your specific tissue damage from getting worse. As a doctor, I have long been aware of autoimmune conditions such as Graves' disease, rheumatoid arthritis, RA, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, lupus, multiple sclerosis, MS, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, psoriasis, alopecia areata, vitiligo, Sjogren's syndrome, and scleroderma, among others. But when I was diagnosed with one of these illnesses, it changed both my personal and professional lives forever. My story. Before I go any further, let me introduce myself the way I would if you were one of the patients in my office. I'm Dr. Susan Blum, a board-certified physician in preventive medicine and an assistant clinical professor in the Department of Preventive Medicine at the Mount Sinai School of Medicine in New York City. I am also the founder of Blum Center for Health in Rye Brook, New York. In medical school, I started down the road of traditional medicine. Then during my internal medicine residency, I quickly realized that I didn't want to focus just on illness or disease. I wanted to focus on preventing those conditions in the first place. But back then, preventive medicine consisted mostly of screening tests and public health programs. It wasn't part of a doctor's everyday practice. Physicians just weren't given the tools in medical school to help their patients change their behavior, such as how to get people to eat healthfully or reduce stress. I knew I had to take a different route as a doctor. So I sought training from institutions that were considered outside the box at the time. In particular, I was interested in the relationship between stress, nutrition, and illness. I moved off the beaten path of traditional medicine toward a more holistic approach and into an emerging field called functional medicine. First, I completed a program at the Center for Mind-Body Medicine in Washington, D.C., where I learned tools for stress management and methods to reverse the effects of stress on the body. Then, at the Institute for Functional Medicine, I learned how food affects these processes, either promoting health or causing diseases. When I started applying what I had learned about stress management and nutrition in my own practice, I saw firsthand how these methods helped people to prevent and actually reverse chronic diseases. These two ideas, prevention and reversal of chronic disease, became my passions and are at the core of my medical practice today. But there is one area where these techniques are truly life-changing: autoimmune diseases. I know this not only because I have seen the benefits for my patients who suffer from autoimmune diseases, but also because I saw the impact on myself when I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. I discovered it more than a decade ago when a friend asked me why my hands were so yellow. I actually hadn't noticed this before, but she was right. So I immediately had blood work done to find out why. "You have hypothyroidism," my doctor told me after the lab results came back. Me? A thyroid problem? I couldn't believe it. Hypothyroidism is a condition in which the thyroid gland doesn't produce enough thyroid hormone. This hormone is necessary to help the body convert beta-carotene, a nutrient found in yellow and orange fruits and vegetables, into vitamin A. Because this conversion wasn't happening, all the beta-carotene from my healthful diet wasn't being properly processed. Instead, these nutrients were building up in my body, and one symptom of this was my yellow hands. In retrospect, I realized that this wasn't the only one. Another was the fact that I had to work really hard to keep from gaining weight, and a third was that I was often very tired. But at the time I didn't realize these were signs of a problem. They had been part of my life for so long that I considered them normal. Further testing revealed even more bad news. I had an autoimmune disease called Hashimoto's thyroiditis. In other words, my immune system, which is normally the body's defense in the daily battle against infection and invaders, was no longer protecting or defending me. In fact, my immune cells had turned against my thyroid, attacking it and damaging it to the point where it was struggling unsuccessfully to make enough thyroid hormone. I was shocked. I had become a vegetarian years earlier. I exercised regularly. I practiced yoga and meditation. And I had cultivated a strong spiritual faith. I had faced my demons in psychotherapy and was finally content with my life. Because I was doing what I thought were all the right things already, being diagnosed with an autoimmune disease was shocking and frightening. I was also a medical doctor, so I just couldn't believe that something was going on inside my body that I didn't know about. But my primary care physician just shrugged off this upsetting news. "It's no big deal," he said. "You'll just take thyroid hormone replacement medication and be fine." No big deal. Maybe not to him, but my intuition told me something wasn't right. My body was out of balance, and I wanted answers. Why did I have this disease, and why now? To understand my illness, I decided to use it as an opportunity to explore all that traditional and non-traditional medicine had to offer me. I didn't want to take a pill that would only mask the problem and just manage my symptoms. I wanted to know why those symptoms were there in the first place. How functional medicine helped me. The journey that I began after my diagnosis of Hashimoto's disease led me deeper into the unique and, at the time, relatively new field of functional medicine, an approach that considers the whole person, not just his or her symptoms. After receiving my diagnosis, I began using the principles I learned at the Institute for Functional Medicine to treat myself. As a result, I discovered that because of a genetic predisposition, I'm at high risk for autoimmune diseases. I also learned that my body has trouble removing mercury from my system. Mercury is a toxin that's damaging to tissue in our bodies and a potential cause of autoimmune diseases. I went on a gluten-free diet and reduced my mercury exposure by no longer eating fish high in this heavy metal, such as tuna, swordfish, eel, and striped bass, and over the course of 2 years I had my many dental amalgam fillings removed. I began to drink protein shakes that reduce inflammation and enhance the function of the liver. Since the liver is the body's main detoxifying organ, this helps it clear mercury and other toxins from the body. 2 years after I learned I had Hashimoto's and started the journey to treat my autoimmune disease using functional medicine, my antibody levels were normal, and my disease was cured. I was taking a small amount of thyroid hormone called levothyroxine, and I had great energy, and my weight was easy to maintain. I was thrilled and excited to share what I had learned with my patients. That was the first step. Because my thyroid was already damaged when I was first diagnosed, my next goal was healing my thyroid, which can take a variable amount of time for each person, depending on how long it has been under attack by the autoimmune disease. Since my thyroid gland was quite damaged from the Hashimoto's, I still needed, and continue to need, thyroid hormone replacement. That said, I now take half the dose that I was taking 10 years ago. Today I feel healthier and more energetic than I ever have. My health journey has taught me what my body needs, how to ask, and how to listen. Reversing a chronic disease takes time and effort, but it can be done. My story is proof of that. I did it for myself and made the professional decision to help other people living with autoimmune diseases do it too. Years ago, I gave a lecture to an audience full of healthcare professionals at the Center for Mind-Body Medicine's professional training program. During that lecture, I talked about the importance of using food as medicine, and how simple things such as breathing and relaxation can work to help heal disease. I was stunned to find that these important, life-changing concepts were new to most of the 200 people in the audience, and they were healthcare professionals. I couldn't believe it. How could these doctors teach these things to their patients if they didn't understand them and weren't practicing them themselves? It was then that I realized it was time to get the word out more broadly than simply to my patients and the people who attended that lecture and other talks I continue to give. How functional medicine can help you. In 2010, after several years of planning and many more spent dreaming about such an opportunity, I opened Blum Center for Health in Rye Brook, New York, where the focus is on a comprehensive integration of functional medicine, mind-body medicine, and preventive medicine. It includes a cooking school to teach patients and clients how to eat for their health, and a mind-body-spirit center that teaches an array of relaxation techniques, not only to prevent chronic health conditions but also to reverse them. This, combined with the functional medicine treatment I offer as a medical doctor, has created extraordinary life-changing results for my patients. I'm not the only person who has been told to simply pop a few pills and move on, and I'm certainly not the only one who thought that there should be a better way. Today, in my functional medicine practice at Blum Center for Health, patients often share with me what their traditional medical doctors have said after diagnosing them with an autoimmune disease. Get used to the painkillers. You'll need them for the rest of your life. We don't know why people get these diseases, and your immune system can't be treated. These are just a few examples, but the recurring theme is generally one of hopelessness. The idea is that you should just accept your diagnosis and the inevitable lifelong battle with painkillers, drugs that suppress your immune system, and the side effects of both, some of which can be devastating and long-term. I simply refused to accept that there was nothing I could do for myself, or the other 23.5 million Americans currently living with autoimmune diseases. But with the prevalence of autoimmune diseases on the rise, I know that there are many, many people living with these conditions who will never make it to my office. I wrote this book so I could offer this plan, an effective and healthy approach, to a broader audience. Many traditional doctors have an attitude of just give in to your illness, which only leads you to feel utterly powerless. It also makes your disease worse because it undermines the body's natural healing process. The mind-body connection is real and powerful. There are many studies that show that the more control a person feels he or she has over a situation, the higher the rate of healing. People do better, feel better, and live better with various health conditions if they have a sense that there is something they can do for themselves. And there is. That is one of the core principles of functional medicine. And as an expert in the field, I'm here to show you how much control you can have over your own health and well-being. So what exactly is a functional medicine expert? First, let me tell you what it is not. Most traditional doctors take note of your symptoms and figure out what diagnosis they can bundle those symptoms into. This usually dictates your treatment. Therefore, If you and a friend have the same symptoms, you often get the same diagnosis and then the same treatment. This works for trauma and for health issues such as appendicitis or a broken leg, where certain things such as surgery can remedy an immediate problem or symptom. Unfortunately, this approach doesn't work when you're trying to treat and prevent complex chronic illnesses, such as autoimmune diseases. A functional medicine expert is like a medical detective, gathering all the clues of your past, where you grew up, your family situation, traumatic events, health history, etc., and your present, potential toxins in your environment, social life, stress level, relationships, diet, workout regimen, sleep habits, symptoms, etc. Armed with this information, a functional medicine expert tries to uncover how and why your body is not functioning well. This type of detective work is what I offer all my patients at Blum Center for Health, and what I use to cure myself of the serious autoimmune condition that I had. It is exactly what I will offer you with the interactive elements that run throughout this book. Sidney Baker, M.D., a well-known preventive medicine specialist who is often called the father of functional medicine, once said, "If you are sitting on a tack, the answer is not to treat the pain. The solution is to find the tack and remove it." The Immune System Recovery Plan will help you find the tacks that are causing your immune system to malfunction and remove them one by one. It will take you through the 4 critical steps that will remove things from the body that are bad for the immune system, and then make sure the body has exactly what it needs to function properly. The Immune System Recovery Plan. I wrote the Immune System Recovery Plan to share an important message of hope and healing. Shockingly, there is no other book on the market that tells the average person how the immune system works and shows how to fix it. And that's exactly what I'll detail. I will explain how I have helped hundreds of people with autoimmune diseases such as lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, Sjogren's syndrome, Hashimoto's disease, and Graves' disease, among others, reverse their symptoms and reduce their antibodies. Antibodies are molecules normally made by your immune cells to attack and destroy foreign invaders. But in autoimmune diseases, these antibodies are misdirected and attack and damage your own tissue. Many of these conditions are chronic, debilitating, and potentially life-threatening. In fact, autoimmune diseases are one of the top 10 leading causes of death in girls and in women up to 64 years of age. The Immune System Recovery Plan will help you figure out what you're feeling, why you're experiencing certain symptoms, and how you can treat the underlying causes of those symptoms so you can reverse your autoimmune disease. How can one book address whatever autoimmune condition you have? Because most of these conditions have similar underlying imbalances. Through the interactive aspects in the Immune System Recovery Plan, you will be able to do with this book what my patients do with me in my office. Naturally, you won't be doing your own blood work or stool tests, since those require a healthcare professional. But by using the 4 steps in this book, you will learn how to treat whatever autoimmune condition you have. The 4 steps to healing and preventing autoimmune disease are: Step 1. Using food as medicine. Step 2. Understanding the stress connection. Step 3. Healing your gut. Step 4. Supporting your liver. I suggest you do the 4 steps in order, which will help you reap the most benefit from this book. However, each one can also stand alone, so you can target one area at a time if you prefer. The Immune System Recovery Plan is divided into 4 parts, corresponding to the 4 steps. Each part is divided into 3 chapters. The first chapter in each part offers a clear explanation about how the immune system is affected by the topic at hand. For example, how the immune system responds to stress, or how digestive health influences the immune system. The second chapter is a workbook with self-assessments. Using the results of these assessments, I will help you personalize your own treatment plan. This chapter will provide all the information you need to implement the plan, including specific instructions on how to integrate these tools into daily life and how to make permanent lifestyle changes. The third chapter provides recipes that show you how to use food as...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?